Hello everyone, I'm at LAX today and I'm flying to Taipei, Taiwan on China Airlines. I have not flown on China Airlines in a long time, so let's see how they are. China Airlines operates from Los Angeles LAX Tom Bradley International Terminal. Parts of Bradley are still under construction, and inside the terminal, it was crowded and had just a few places to sit. I recommend not arriving until after the ticket counter opens, as you will just be sitting around, waiting. After breezing through pre-check, the regular security had a long line. I was finally into the nice part of Bradley. China Airlines uses the Korean Air Lounge, which is a common lounge for SkyTeam Airlines. Do note, for Amex Platinum cardholders, the Centurion Lounge is right here in the same terminal. The Korean Air Lounge was uncrowded, spacious, and had plenty of places to sit. Unfortunately, the food selection was very disappointing. Instant noodles were, I suppose, not unexpected. My aircraft, a Boeing 777-300ER, registered B18052, was delivered new to China Airlines in 2014. At the gate, ground staff queued passengers by class of service and zones, so there was no mass crowding. At the boarding gate, a camera takes your photo, matching the one taking a security check using facial recognition before letting you through. On board, the business class cabin is beautifully decorated with wooden accent and earth tones. Side table lights, though now not uncommon, is nevertheless a nice touch. The purser introduced herself, brought me a hot towel, and a choice of water, apple juice, or orange juice. The business class cabin was only half full on this Monday afternoon. The flight attendant for my section was proactive, showed me how to adjust my seat, and explained the menu choices. The display in front is 18 inches large. Seat and lighting controls have a dedicated digital panel. There are two different storage bins below the window, with USB and power outlets. And another smaller bin on the aisle side, sized for a water bottle. We pushed back 24 minutes late with an expected flying time of 12 hours and 40 minutes. It took us a while to taxi from the south end of Bradley to the north runway 24 left. After takeoff, we turned north, hugging the California coast before crossing the Pacific Ocean. The remote control for the entertainment system uses a touchscreen, and it has a built-in flight tracker, which was a first for me and a very useful feature while you're watching a movie. But the controls were laggy, so I just ended up using the touchscreen on the main display. The amenity kit is the North Face branded. The back design exudes ruggedness, and it definitely stands out from the usual luxury brand kits in terms of uniqueness and reusability. How about that? A loo with a view! Beverage service began 30 minutes after takeoff. I had a sparkling peach tea. The amuse-bouche, not on the menu, were fresh and tasty. The smoked salmon appetizer and salad, though simple, included elements that gave them a high-end quality feel. Look at the variety of garnish and the thick salmon. And look at the combination of greens and accoutrements in the salad. Winter melon and Chinese ham soup. I have not had anything like this in ages, and reminded me of a fine Chinese restaurant. The Angus beef filet was very tender, sauce very delicious. Fresh mushroom slices were an unexpected but welcome inclusion. For dessert, you get to choose 2 out of 3 items. I went with the fruit and cheese plate and the almond apple tart. Dinner service was complete an hour and a half after departure. Overall, the dinner was very delicious, high quality, and felt very high-end. Though I think the combination of Chinese and Western elements in the same meal choice was rather clashy. I was unable to get to deep sleep. The warm cabin temperature may have something to do with that. After getting up, flight attendants were quick to react, inquiring if I wanted anything to eat. Instead of ordering off the menu, I wanted to visit the snack bar. The Sky Lounge snack bar showcased flavors of Taiwan, and everything were out of the ordinary and were unique to a specific region. The purser described all of the items for me. For example, instead of pineapple cake, cactus cake from the island of Penghu. Since the choices were overwhelming, I got one of everything and 2 different types of tea. They hit the spot. With 1 hour and 40 minutes remaining in the flight, breakfast service began. I went with a Chinese classic, congee, or rice porridge served with a variety of sides and a steamroll. It was amusing to see a simple and common dish like this placed and served on an airplane. Again, just look at the little things that made me take note. This is not just a simple fruit dish. The plating and garnishments on this place it a notch above the ordinary. We approached from the northeast and landed at Taipei Taoyuan, runway 23 right. pulled into the gate at 9:31 p.m., 16 minutes late. Flying time was 12 hours and 43 minutes. Despite having a 1.5 hour connection for my flight to Bangkok, timing was still very tight. I had to transfer from Terminal 2 to Terminal 1 and then stand in a long line for security check where there was just one lane open. Follow the link here to see the continuation of my trip, now on board China Airlines A321neo in their lie flat business class.